Hello, my friends. Today I am here to talk about John Moran. Some interesting observations he made on LinkedIn about MetaAdvantage Plus. I want to get into that. Who is John Moran? John Moran, along with his buddy Qasim Aslam, created a kick-ass agency called Soul 8. They were probably the nation's most spending on Google Ads. They actually spent the most. If I'm right, at a certain time, I think either around 2000 or just before then, they grew this kick-ass agency. Now, John Moran works for Qasim Aslam's friend from the Perpetual Traffic podcast named Ralph Burns. It's the co-host on there, and he works at his agency, Tier 11. Now, I communicate with John Moran. He's not my friend or anything. I respect him. I follow a lot of what he says. There's a sniping technique I'm using right now with non-brands that I'm borrowed from him, so I'm seeing if that works. It actually seems to be working. I use some of what he says, and I've been successful. He does knows his shit. I will say that. I have heard some so things, like he'll just tell you enough just to make you join his school, which is about $100 a month to learn or get stronger in Google Ads or PPC. And then, of course, he wants you to work at his agency with Ralph Burns. So he tells the clients just enough so they have to sign on to him. A lot of what he says is really good. I think the really important nuggets, he'll put a couple out there, but he'll keep to himself, which is fine. He's bright enough to, that's for sure. But let's go with what he said and my thoughts. I'm going to start reading. Meta has changed the game. Meta has announced that Advantage Plus sales campaigns will be in the near future the only campaign type you will be able to run. The new Advantage Plus sales campaigns will retain the ability to target and exclude audiences, but it is now up to Meta if they want to take quote unquote your suggestions. We got wind of this back in November of 24 and have spent around $3.5 million in ad spend testing the best way to optimize Meta. Utilizing CAPI imports of first-click user data, backdated, optimizing for specific types of conversions, new customers only, new subscribers of a particular product, return customers only, etc. We saw Meta react very well. Then we tested the creative targeting feature, rolling out to all advertisers by June 25th, which is next month, and saw even better scalable performance. And if you have been following me on our school platform or on Tier 11's Friday lives, you have been seeing the results in real time. So yes, he's pushing that agency. I get it. And the school platform, rightfully so. That's fine. The deduping of opportunities users by ad set combined with creative targeted sans audiences targeting and sans exclusions have completely changed our structures in Meta. What worked in 24 no longer applies next month. Okay, this is where it gets a little weird. What does it mean for the industry? I can hypothesize that media buying as a technical skill will have its barrier to entry lowered. This means that now anyone can run meta ads very well. Unless you do first click CAPI imports, segmented conversion events, and singular ad set targeting per import, there's not much agencies can offer clients that's different than what they can do themselves. Let me read that again. I think that's a little, wow, okay. This is where I just can't believe I had to reread this a few times. Unless you do first click CAPI imports, segmented conversion events, and singular ad set targeting per import, there's not much agencies can offer clients that's different than what they can do themselves. Before, it was unheard of to add 1 million to one campaign, one ad set in 5 months. But now we're seeing our new customers' costs drop after 4,000% scale. So they test it and then they drop a whole shitload of money, 4,000% in terms of increase in budget. More to come. But I'm very excited of the future, and he has a screenshot of the results, and it has amount spent, very interesting. This has 34 reposts, 63 comments, and 571 likes, all on LinkedIn. What do I think of all this? I don't believe with the thing about excluded audiences, actually. You can still exclude audiences, and that'll always be a thing. I've actually researched that recently, and I don't believe that. I believe that a lot of people have problems with meta ads, and a lot of it goes back to creative. And I've heard people say this, that if you are doing meta ads right now, you need to be doing creative as well, because creative is a one way that you can leverage performance in the platform. All you have to do is keep swapping out creative. Audiences, do they matter? Yes. Are they the North Star? They are, but creative actually matters more than if you're using a retargeted audience or an acquisition audience and merging all the audiences. Does it really matter? Probably so, maybe, but nothing else matters more than a high converting creative. High converting creative trumps all of that ad set logic that I just mentioned right now. And that is golden. That's been going on probably for about, I would say, 3 years. That has been the way I've approached it, and that's the way I've heard my peers approach it. So what do you need ads managers for? And Yousaf, you're a big proponent of Meta Blueprint. Yes, I am. Because you still got to navigate the platform. You still have to understand how to, budget, how to set the dates, how to swap, how to know what you're doing in that platform. Yes, I think it is easier to buy. I get that. But when I'm in the platform, I can honestly say, you got to know what you're fucking doing. I just don't think someone can watch a video and just do meta ads and then just start scaling at 4,000% or whatever he said. And I think you'll always need a good operator. And I've always said this, and a lot of this is led by, he talks about Advantage Plus. Advantage Plus is really AI. That's really what it is. And it's about taking your creative and your performance and extrapolating out to a larger audience at scale. So it'll take like a small beat, and then I analyze and say, okay, this is where I need to be. Do I need to be in the audience network section? Do I need to be in Reels? Do I need to be in Feed? Where do I need to go? And that's what it really does. And then it'll say, within this 2 million audience structure, because that's exactly what you need, roughly 2 million. This is like, I have already segmented to high and low performers, and I've sliced and diced that audience to understand where I need to go within that audience. And then I just take that creative and go in there. I think what he's saying here is that unless like you're doing full funnels, right? And really setting up CAPIs, understanding your smart funnel and then your acquisition to retainer, that will always need an agency. I see so many shit buys from even freelancers on Meta. And I could let alone say, well, can a client do this? Okay, well, a client could probably set it up. But does a client necessarily have the creative? It's funny. I had one client that we were talking about this, and he specializes, let's say, in shoes. He doesn't do that, but I'm just going to talk third person for a minute. He specializes in quote unquote shoes. And he was like, oh yeah, I just take pictures of shoes and, I just make it myself. And I've seen his stuff. It sucks. I was like, well, really what you need is social proof creative. You need like influencers, and you need to have stickers, and you need to have like the pop-up show, and it needs to be, there's room for authenticity, but it also has to look like a legit ad, people, I understand people respond to UGC, but they also respond to a clearly edited well video, right? An unboxing video, a review video. I don't see a time when clients can do this on their own. And this brings up a larger discussion that I've talked about with certain people. It's about AI buys, AI assisted buying, right? And that's where he's going with this. And he's saying, okay, well, there's one ad set. That's exactly what he said. One ad set or one campaign. I'm going to put all my acquisition audience in there. I'm going to put all my retargeting on there. I'm going to put in add to cart banners, all this stuff. And I'm just going to run it. I do that. I've done that, guys. That's just called a conversion campaign. And you just run it willy-nilly. That's not a big deal. That's going on right now. What we need to also be looking at is how to grow your opportunity audience, because a cost per click or a cost per landing page view is a hell of a lot cheaper than a cost per conversion from somebody who's been unexposed. Somebody who's unexposed, you're going to have to take them from beginning to end within a conversion funnel. That's why so many conversion funnels just go drive into retargeting. It's a far easier approach. At the same time, you need to also be doing different things to be building awareness. No one friggin' will buy from you if they don't know who you are. Now, that's all upper funnel. That's what that is. So that's the people who have highly viewed your videos, people who have done video completions, people who have watched and engaged, or people who have clicked through. Now, people who have clicked through, I understand that. It's more of a middle funnel. I digress, but it's definitely up there as opposed to conversion. It is a lot cheaper to bring in people upper and upper mid than it is to bring them in through conversions. Conversions is just hardcore selling to the lowest price cost per conversion or cost per purchase. My friends, what I just did, a lot of people can't do. What I just said, a lot of clients cannot build. What I just said is where a lot of people get stuck. A little bit blindsided, and they're like, oh, I could just run conversion campaigns and just throw all the audiences in there and that's it. Maybe segment it by different shoes, right? Running shoes and walking shoes and dress shoes and this stuff. Okay, you got me there. But what are you going to do when that shit doesn't work? What are you going to do when the shoe costs $150 and you're spending $100, $200 per cost per purchase and it's not going down? That means it's your upper funnel, my friends. And that also means you got to swap out creative. Do you know what to do? Like, do you know what to do? Is it video views? Is it landing page views? Is it engagements? What are you going to do? So when you look at it from that perspective, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done by the buyer. Another thing is the AI thing. I mentioned it and I kind of backed away from it. I'm going to bring it up right now. I've said this so many times and I'm going to say this again. When you have these campaigns, like let's just say Google for a minute, that's built by AI. And say you have a so-so buyer and you have a very experienced buyer, an expert. Let's just say an expert. And then you have a so-so buyer who knows something. He just watched videos and maybe he's even a client who dabbles. The problem here is when you use AI to assist with both the expert and both the so-so buyer, you tell me, who's going to get the better results? You know who's going to get the better results? The expert buyer. AI can confuse you. And I'm not saying it because, Yousaf saying that I shouldn't dabble with campaigns. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I've seen the junior buyer AI assisted, and every time it's trash because it recommends auto recommendations. It creates the video, which is trash within Google Ads, within PMax. You can tell when you see that video with a bunch of stills on YouTube and it shows different products. That's like crap. That's not a real video. I wouldn't buy anything from that. Now it is giving me a view through conversion, which is not even a first or last click. It's just middle view through, but that's all it is. How is a video like that going to make me convert? I really want to make sure that we all understand that AI helps, but it's not the replacement for an expert. And I cannot say it enough. I've had clients come up to me. Oh yeah, I went through ChatGPT and I use Gemini on Google and I look at it and I go, yeah, I could tell because you have all auto recommendations on. Where's your conversion funnel? Where's your GTM, GA4? Debug tool testing. Did you test the conversions? ATC, IC, where's the conversion funnel? Where's a smart funnel for your lead? Are you optimizing to the scheduler and then to a booking? All that shit. That is 100% human, and no junior person's they may understand it. They may kind of figure it out what I'm talking about, but a lot of people say they nod their head. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but they can't implement it. They don't understand how to implement that kind of strategy within GTM or GA4 and then link that with that GA4 within the Google Ads and actually create those funnel audiences within Google Ads. That's the problem. And I think there will always be clients and junior buyers who, I can just run it. You don't need to do much, or their friends help them and that's it. But everybody knows, like I just said this, Meta operates best when you have to keep switching out the creative. Have you done your experiments? Have you optimized different landing pages even? Did you even do a post-click strategy? What's your post-click smart funnel strategy. Can you take me through it? Are you using a CRM for your lead gen? What's your lead scoring? What's your lead behavior analysis? These are all terms and things that a lot of clients just, it's above their head. Well, I just ran the ads and, blah, blah. That's not how this works, my friend. That is not how this works. You know how I know this doesn't work? Because just because you have leads and you get leads, are they good leads or are they soft leads? If they're shitty, you have no lead scoring methodology. Where's your CRM in all this? You're telling me you're just going to trust Google Ads just to, spray and pray and just give you those leads and those cost per the TCPA? And you're thinking you're getting a great TCPA and it's all soft and trash? Do you know what to do? Do you know what to do when that's all soft and trash? Do you know that you have to keep optimizing landing pages as much as that? And you do need to experiment and apply those benchmarks. What's your conversion rate? You see, and it's really funny how I think something like this, what John Moran said is smart. I think it's right. Let's see here. He says, hold on here. I can now hypothesize that media buying as a technical skill will have its barrier to entry lowered. Now, as everything I just said, does that sound like a junior person or an okay buyer can do that? I don't know. This means that now anyone can now run meta ads very well. I kind of get that. If you want to just put it all in one campaign and run it, and he does say that here at the end, maybe I wouldn't take that chance. And then in the same breath he says that, he says, if you have been following me on my school platform at $100 a month that he says here, and on Tier 11's Friday Lives, you haven't seen the results in real time. So in one breath, he says anybody can run ads, but in another breath, he says, if you're in trouble, come to my school for PPC. So which is it? Is it anybody can run it? Because you just said that, and then now you're saying if you need help, come. Do you see what I'm saying? So, and I respect him for that. I actually think that's a cool thing that he's done. I want to do a school. I don't think I'll ever get to the point I charge $100 a person a month. I may charge $1, I may charge $2, for maybe a $5. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. Right now, my platform is free to learn ads on. If you have any questions, I have a free WhatsApp group that you can find on my link tree. So anyways, these are just some thoughts I just wanted to put out there. This is an evolving conversation. This isn't anything that's going to be figured out in the next week. It's probably not going to be figured out probably till the end of summer, end of the year. And I think they are changes, but we do meta ads all day long. We do simple ads. We do very complex ads. And I can honestly say there is no dip in business. Meta ads is very strong with my agency. I have not seen anybody say, oh yeah, we can just do them ourselves. Nobody wants to do those ads. Nobody does. And I see the same thing happen with Google, same exact thing. If anything, I have more people asking for help. I do see models, and I want to talk about this down the road, where people they're kind of a lot of freelancers are selling this package where they just advise people how to do ads, but I don't know. I think that's okay. I mean, if you want to save some money, but really you can get a decent agency for $1,500 a month to do everything for you, even $2,000 right now. So anyways, everybody, that's really it. I thought this was an interesting subject. I got very animated. So let's talk some more. Thanks.